This is a video review of a solid hickory English longbow that you can buy from Ringing Rocks Archery. It comes totally shaped. All you have to do is smooth it down and decide how you want to set it up, which limb you want to be the upper limb and the lower limb. And you just need to sand it down, seal the wood so the hickory wood's not going to split if you're in high humidity or very low humidity. And I put a handle on the bow so it was a little bit easier to shoot reproducibly. So I just used an old piece of shoe leather, stitched it up with a rawhide bootlace. Nothing very special. So the bow looks pretty good when you set it up. The only problem is the nocks are not cut quite correctly. I think if you're going to use a brace height of about 6 inches, they look like they're cut for a much higher brace height, and they're not cut evenly. One of them was sort of horizontal and the other one was sort of at a 45-degree angle, so that wasn't very impressive. Also, the bowstring is very cheap. It's not waxed, and it pulled apart very quickly. So and it looked like it was made for a much wider bow. So I was in Utah, and in the countryside, I needed to find something I could use to shoot the bow. I got some paracord that's extra high breaking strength, so it doesn't seem to be very stretchy, and it seemed to work okay. But it probably cut down the efficiency of the bow a little bit, and it's really ugly. If you want a medieval looking bow, I wouldn't suggest using that for the string. The bow itself is basically D-shaped, but not quite. The back is flat, the belly is rounded, except it has a bit of a flat surface on it, and it's about 1 inch wide and just slightly less than 1 inch thick at the handle. And for $56, it seemed to be a pretty decent bow if you want to use it for Renaissance fairs or reenactment or just messing around. It was fine. I set it up. You can see the nocks there. They look okay with the thicker string. I set it up to have about a 6-inch brace height. I set it up to have a little bit of positive tiller, so it would shoot okay. We noticed that the string was a little bit funky if you shot it not at full draw. You can see here the oscillation in the string. It probably comes from having a stretchy string. It shoots well off the hand, and I could hit what I aim for without trying very hard at 20 yards. And it hit pretty hard. It would go clear through a cardboard box at 20 yards with no problem and keep going quite a ways. So I suspect if you wanted to use it for a hunting bow, it would probably do the job. I like to use longbows for distance shooting. We're shooting here in a field. We did some shooting at a stump at about 120 yards. And it was really cold when we were doing this, between -3 and 0 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about minus 18 degrees centigrade. And it was kind of hard on the hands and the arms to draw the bow and shoot reproducibly. You can see a couple of times that my left hand's not doing too well sometimes when I let go. I didn't notice that so much when I was doing it, but when you watch the video, you can see it. The bow, when it was set up okay, shot okay. There wasn't a lot of hand shock or anything. And it looks like it would work for a simple bow. For $15, you could buy a good Flemish twist string with smaller loops that would shoot a lot better. I try to shoot real reproducibly, but it looks like it would work if you practice a bit with it. My son shot it a bit, and he commented that it seemed a lot harder to draw than he expected for 45 pounds, but that's about what it measured out at. And it's probably an issue with not being used to shooting off of a handle where you have to cant the bow slightly, or else the arrow is going to flip off. So if you're a beginner, that might be something you think about. Also, if you're a beginner, it might be a little bit difficult to figure out how to set up the bow. for 56 bucks. It's a fine bow. You could use it for reenactment or messing around, no problem.